Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Everything begins with Him and shall end by His decree. All praises to Allah who is eternal and absolute. He has existed since before any creation and will remain forever. He is eternal and has utmost power over everything. He created every living creature without a paradigm. He is the omnipotent, the one and only. He neither begets nor is begotten. Allah, without a doubt, who is the most magnificent and whose name is the holiest and pure. He created every being with no necessity or desire of his own. He is not motivated by self-interest in the creation of any living being. He brought this magnificent universe to life only by His grace and kindness. Every being has been blessed by His unmatched generosity, bounty and kindness. Allah, the Almighty, blessed them with ears to listen, sight for their eyes to see, a heart to be enlightened, and bestowed upon them the most precious wealth of wisdom and knowledge, by virtue of which they can choose right from the wrong and identify what is beneficial or harmful for them. He laid the earth for them to walk on its clear path and created the sky up high as a safe haven over them. And then He let heavy rain fall through the clouds and sent down a predetermined amount of sustenance, and has run the sun and the moon after one another for the benefits of His own creation, as a result of which they witness formation of the day and night. He made the night as a garment for people and the day as the source of earning livelihood. The rotation of sun and moon, the rise and fall of the day and night, are the biggest favors of Supreme on His mankind. Besides this, they determine the timings of performing their duties and are related to the clocks of day and night, changing into months and years. For instance, the obligatory 5-time prayers, charity, the holy pilgrimage, fasting, etc. Similarly, daily tasks, dealings, paying debts or timeline for performing other necessary rites and duties. The first ever thing Allah, the all-knowing and wise, created was a pen, and He commanded it to write. To which the pen answered, "O my Lord, what shall I write?" He, the Sustainer, replied, "Write the fate of mankind." Hence, the pen began to write, and it wrote the past and future events till the day of resurrection. After the creation of the pen and completion of writing the fate of the universe, Allah, the Magnificent, raised the water vapors high and created the skies. Allah Almighty then created a fine cloud, and this is the cloud, Ghamam, that He has mentioned in His book, the Holy Quran.
هل ينظرون إلا أن يأتيهم الله في ظلل من الغمام والملائكة وقضي الأمر وإلى الله ترجع الأمور.
After the cloud, Allah Almighty created His throne, heavens, over the waters. Then when Allah the Sovereign willed to create the heavens and the earth, so He did. Then Allah the Almighty created 6 days. This suggested 6 different names for each day. In the detail of these days, their names are written as Abjad, the first day, Hawaz, the second day, Hutti, the third day, Qalimun, the fourth day, Sa'afas, the fifth day, and Qarushat, the sixth. Then Allah the Supreme, the Majestic, completed the 7th day on Sunday and Monday. And within them, the mountains, minerals, food, trees, and everything that was required for them was created on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then He diverted towards the completion of the sky. It was just in the state of smoke at that time. So He formed it into one vast entity and then shattered into pieces until it formed into 7 skies. And this was carried out on Thursday and Friday. Allah, the Supreme, created the skies on Thursday and the sun, moon, stars and all the angels on Friday, even when there were only 3 hours remaining of the day. So in the first hour, he determined the lifespan of every living being, meaning who would live for however long and when would he die. In the second hour, he created the calamities that befall everything beneficial and gave them abode of paradise. And then he created Adam alayhi salam, may Allah be pleased by him, after Asr on Friday. And he was the last being created in the last hour of Friday. When Allah, the All-Wise, willed to create the father of all men, Hazrat Syed Adam alayhi salam, may Allah be pleased with him, he sent Hazrat Jibraeel, may Allah be pleased by him, to earth to bring back some clay. So the earth pleaded to Jibraeel alayhi salam, I seek mercy from taking away something from within me that shall flaw me. Hence, Angel Jibraeel alayhi salam came back without taking anything from the earth and said as he stood before Allah, O my Lord, the earth pleaded mercy from you, so I granted it. Then he sent Angel Mikail alayhi salam, and the earth again asked for mercy, and so he granted. Angel Mikail alayhi salam returned to Allah and informed him what Angel Jibraeel alayhi salam informed Allah. Then Allah has sent the angel of death to earth, and the earth again begged for mercy, to which the angel of death replied, I seek refuge in Allah from returning without what Allah demanded of me. Hence the angel of death took clay from earth, and not just from one place, but rather he took red, white, and black sand from different places around the world. This is how mankind was born with different attributes, temperament, and color. Then angel of death, Angel Israel alayhi salam, took off towards the sky and wet the clay with water, which turned it into clay loam, meaning some of the clay would stick to the other clay, so he let it stay in that form, so much so that it started to deform and stink. Then it was kept that way until it became as hard as a potsherd. Allah Almighty kept Adam alayhi salam clay. Leaving it for 40 days, he collected the clay in his mighty hands and separated them by taking the pure clay in his right hand and the foul one in his left. Then he rubbed the two hands together and mixed both soils together. This is how good is born from evil and evil is born from good. So Allah, the Supreme, created Adam alayhi salam by his mighty hands and let Adam alayhi salam idol stay like that for 40 nights. So Iblis came to the idol and kicked it. That made a sound in the idol and it started to rattle. Then he entered the idol through its mouth and came out from its behind. He then said, due to this sound and the clay you were made of, you have no status. If you are made to rule over me, then I will condemn your orders. When Allah decided to blow the soul in Adam alayhi salam's idol, Allah ordered the angel that, when I blow soul in Adam alayhi salam's idol, all of you shall bow down to Adam alayhi salam. When soul was blown, it entered through the blessed head, so Adam alayhi salam sneezed. The angel said to Adam alayhi salam, praise to be Allah, Alhamdulillah. Allah the Supreme said, Rahmak Rabbak, which means may your Lord's mercy be upon you. And into the areas where the soul started entering, those areas started to transform into meat and blood. When it reached the belly, Adam alayhi salam looked at his body. Adam alayhi salam found himself as very handsome and tried to stand up, but he was not in power to do so. At the instant, Allah Supreme said, Adam alayhi salam is so happy that he has no patience at all. Then those angels who were specifically standing near Iblis were ordered to bow down. Except for Iblis, everyone bowed down. Only Iblis, out of his arrogance and ego in his heart, refused. Allah the Supreme said, what is stopping you from bowing down to the thing that I have created out of my own hand of creation? He replied to Almighty, I am better than him, and I am older than him in age. Even my state of existence is superior over his. You have created me out of fire while you created him out of sand. and fire is always superior to sand. When Iblis refused to bow down, Allah deprived him of all his virtues and made him pessimist toward good deeds and drove him all away and made him shaitan, the evil spirit. This was his punishment on the account of his defiance. When Iblis revealed his heart, filled with ego and arrogance, in front of all the angels, although before this, when Allah said to them that I wish to create my own representative on the land, to this angels replied, do you wish to appoint that being as your caliph, who would cause mischief and shed blood? Whereas we glorify and praise you and we state your purity. As the answer to this question, Allah replied, what I know you don't know, but now what was hidden had become apparent in front of angels. They got to know that amongst them there is one incompetent angel as well who has the audacity to refuse Allah's command and go against his order. Then Allah ordered Adam alayhi salam to go to the angels and greet them peace, give them salam. So he went to the angels and said, peace be upon you. To this, the angels replied, may peace and mercy be upon you. Then Adam alayhi salam returned to his Lord. Allah the Supreme said, now this is your offspring's greeting when they meet each other. After that, Allah taught Adam alayhi salam the knowledge of the names of the things, and these are the same characteristics by which people are able to introduce these things, that is humans, animals, land, sea, mountains, and other words similar to these, whether they are related to mankind or other than them. Then, when Allah granted paradise to Adam alayhi salam, he used to feel lonely. He had no one with whom he could find comfort and peace. Then Allah brought slumber on Adam alayhi salam and took one of his rib from the right rib cage and filled the empty space with meat. During this time, Adam alayhi salam was sleeping. He was unconscious for so long that during this time, from his rib, his wife, Hawwa alayhi salam was created. And Allah purified her so that Adam alayhi salam finds bliss in her. When the slumber ended and when he broke out of unconsciousness, he saw her standing by his side. He asked her, who are you? She replied, a woman. He asked, why were you created? She said, so you find comfort in me. When angels got informed about this, they went to have a look and asked Adam alayhi salam, O Adam alayhi salam, what's her name? He replied, Hawwa. They asked why her name is Hawwa alayhi salam. He said, because she was created from the living Adam alayhi salam. So when Allah performed Adam alayhi salam marriage with Hawwa alayhi salam and made them to find solace with each other, He called both and said, O Adam, you and your wife may live in paradise. Hence, when Allah gave a home to Adam alayhi salam and Hawwa in paradise, and allowed them to roam around and eat from variety of fruits in heaven, except from the fruit on one tree, by which they were tested. And the practice of testing carries on to mankind, as Allah addresses in the Holy Quran.
وَقُلْنَا يَا آدَمُ اسْكُنْ أَنْتَ وَزَوْجُكَ الْجَنَّةَ وكلا منها رغدا حيث شئتما ولا تقربا هذه الشجرة فتكونا من الظالمين.
O Adam alayhi salam, you and your wife shall live in paradise and eat freely from wherever you want, but do not go near this tree, or you shall be marked among the wrongdoers. So when Iblis heard about it, he planned to enter paradise to visit Adam alayhi salam and Hawwa alayhi salam. He was stopped by the guarding angels of paradise. So he went to a snake, and that snake appeared to be like a four-legged animal, which resembled a camel. Iblis asked the animal to hide him inside its mouth and enter paradise, so Iblis could meet Adam alayhi salam. Hence, it did as it was asked, and carried Iblis past the guarding angels. And the angels couldn't be aware of it, as Allah's will was in it. Iblis spoke to Adam alayhi salam through the camel's mouth, but Adam alayhi salam paid no heed. He came out and said, O Adam alayhi salam, should I guide you to the tree, the fruit of which, if you eat, you will become a king like Allah the Exalted, or will achieve immortality, so that you will never die. And he swore on Allah to sound believable that he is Adam alayhi salam compassionate and benevolent. And Iblis said this so that the veil covering their body falls off, and their body, which they kept covered, shall be revealed. Shaitan knew that concealment of their intimate body parts was vital. And he knew because he was studying the book of angels. Before this, Adam alayhi salam did not realize the importance of clothing and concealment. So Adam alayhi salam denied Iblis' claims, but Hawa alayhi salam moved forward and ate fruit from the forbidden tree. And started saying, "O Adam alayhi salam, you shall eat it too. I ate it and it caused no harm to me." So Adam alayhi salam ate it too. Instantly their veils fell off, and they ran to cover themselves with leaves in paradise. Allah the Majestic called upon Adam alayhi salam, "O Adam, where are you?" Adam alayhi salam replied, "O my Lord, I'm here." Allah asked, "Why are you not coming out?" He said, "I'm feeling shy in front of you." Allah the Supreme said, "The tree, the fruit of which you ate, is now going to be cursed. Now its fruits will turn into thorns." At that time, there was no better tree than that tree in the heavens and on the earth. Allah said, "O Hawa, you deceived and misguided my servant. Therefore the period of pregnancy has been appointed for you. And during this time you will bear great pain and difficulty. And when you will be on the stage to deliver that child, you will find yourself in the brink of death and feel the severity of that pain." And then he said to the snake, "You allowed the cursed Iblis to enter in your stomach, by which he was able to deceive my servant. Therefore you are cursed. Your legs will be entered in your stomach and your food will be sand. You and your children of Adam alayhi salam will become enemies. Wherever they will see you, they will crush your head by their feet. You will bite them through your jaws." Allah Supreme cursed this snake and cut off its legs and left it to crawl on its stomach, and established sand as its food. And Adam alayhi salam, Hawa alayhi salam, Iblis and the snake were sent down on the land. At this time, it was Friday and 2 hours of the day had passed. However, some say 3 hours had passed. Therefore, as per the first saying, they stayed in paradise for 5 hours. However, some say they stayed for 3 hours, and some say on the day of Friday at the 9th or 10th hour they were dismissed. Therefore, Adam alayhi salam landed in Asian subcontinent and Hawa alayhi salam landed in Jeddah. The mountain where Adam alayhi salam has landed as compared to other mountains was closest to the sky, because on the mountain where Adam alayhi salam landed, his feet touched the mountain and his blessed head touched the sky. For this reason, the hair on the front part of his head, that is the forehead, fell down. That is why the children of Adam alayhi salam are also born with bare foreheads. And because of Adam alayhi salam's height, the animals of the forest were scared of him. So from that time they were afraid of mankind. Adam alayhi salam used to stand on this mountain and listen to the voices of angels and enjoy the winds of paradise, and used to find comfort in it. But the angels were afraid of him. Hence the angels complained to Allah the Supreme about the matter. And so the height of Adam alayhi salam was reduced by 60 grains. Then till the time of Adam alayhi salam's death, his blessed height remained constant. When Adam alayhi salam was sent down, he had the winds of paradise with him. These winds were associated with the trees and valleys of paradise, and it used to bring its fragrance to the world. So, because of this fragrance, the black stone, the Hajr Aswad, was also sent down with Adam alayhi salam, and it was whiter than snow at that time. Similarly, the glue from the trees, the iron rod, the hammer and iron tongs were sent down. When Adam alayhi salam came down from the mountain, he saw a big branch of iron that grew on the mountain. Seeing that, he said that his hammer is made from the same material as this branch. So he started breaking that iron branch with the hammer. The branch had become old and weak. So he lit a fire on that branch until he melted. Adam alayhi salam made a knife out of his iron. So it became the first creation by mankind. He used to use it a lot in his working. Then Adam alayhi salam created a clay oven which it was later inherited by Nuh alayhi salam. And during the time of punishment of water in Hind, this was that oven which started boiling. And it is also said when Adam alayhi salam came down to earth, at that time Allah gave him 30 kinds of fruits as alms. Amongst them, there are 10 fruits with shells and peel, and 10 with seeds, and 10 without peel or seeds. And their names are as follows. The 10 shelled fruits were walnut, almond, pistachio, fruits of bundak tree, poppy, fruits of baloch tree, chestnut, black glossy seedless date, pomegranate, and banana, soap nuts, poppy, and jafte balut. Names of 10 fruits with seeds: peach, apricot, potato, date, sanjad, plum, bukhara plum, jujube, guar, and the tree of shah luj fruit. The next 10 fruit mentioned are ones not to be peeled and seedless fruits: apples, pears, quince, grapes, mulberries, figs, lemons, carobs, cucumber, cantaloupe, and melons. And some say when Adam alayhi salam came down from paradise, he had a bag of wheat with him. And some say that his bag was brought down by Jibreel alayhi salam, and when Adam alayhi salam was hungry and asked for food from God. So Jibreel alayhi salam took out 7 grains from the bag and placed them on Adam alayhi salam's hand. The weight of 1 grain was equal to 160,000 dirhams at that time. When the grains were given in the hands of Adam alayhi salam, he asked, "O Jibreel, what will I do with these grains?" Jibreel alayhi salam replied, "Spread these on the ground." So he followed the command, and Allah made it grow in no time. And this method of sowing seeds in the ground continued in his descendants. Then Jibreel alayhi salam said, "Cut the harvest." Then Adam alayhi salam cut the crop. Then he said, "Collect and rub it with your hands." He did as asked. Then Jibreel the truthful said, "Blow on it," and blow away its straw. Adam alayhi salam blew away its chaff. Then they both went towards a rocky place and kept rocks on each other. As commanded, Adam alayhi salam grounded these grains and then kneaded the dough. Jibreel brought a stone and then an iron plate. Then Adam alayhi salam rubbed 2 stones against each other. By this fire came out of them. Then following the command, he made bread on the fire, and this was the first bread that was prepared on fire. And when Allah the Supreme took down Adam alayhi salam out of place of comfort and peace, that is paradise, and provided him with a life of hard work and hardship, he realized his mistake and turned to Allah and repented. And like this, he learned the words of repentance from Allah the Supreme. This is mentioned in Holy Quran.
ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين.
Then Allah the Supreme accepted his repentance. Adam alayhi salam then started his journey to search for Hawa alayhi salam. He wandered restlessly in the search of her in the land. Finally, Adam alayhi salam and Hawa raziyallahu ta'ala anhu met each other in the field of Arafat and both recognized each other. He became close to her in Muzdalfa. Then he traveled back to India with Hawa raziyallahu ta'ala anhu, where they built a cave and settled in it, as Adam alayhi salam and Hawa raziyallahu ta'ala anhu were naked. Allah ordered them to slaughter a lamb, which is in one of the 8 types of animals sent down from above. So Adam alayhi salam slaughtered the lamb as per Allah's order. So Adam alayhi salam took its wool and Hawa spun it, and together they did the knitting. Adam alayhi salam prepared a cloak for himself, and Hawa prepared a scarf and cloak for herself, and both of them wore this dress. Allah Supreme revealed to Adam alayhi salam, "There is a respectable place on earth opposite to my throne. Go there and build my house on that place." Then creation were circumambulate around it, as you saw my angels circumambulating the throne. In this place, I will also accept the prayers of your children, provided they obey me. When Allah ordered the construction of Kaaba, Adam alayhi salam said, "O Lord, how can I do this? I am neither strong nor familiar with this place." So Allah, the Supreme, pointed an angel. He led them towards the west. If Adam alayhi salam passed through any garden and it looked good to him, he would say, "Let me stay here." But the angels would say, "Your appointed place is ahead." All the places they stopped on the way turned into settlements, and all the places they left turned into wild forests. So Adam alayhi salam built the house of Allah with 5 stones. The stone of Mount Sinai, Mount Olive, Mount Lebanon, Mount Jodi, and Mount Hira were used in the foundation. When he was freed from the construction of the house of Allah, the angel took him to Arafat and showed him all the places of Hajj, the place where even today people perform Hajj rituals. Hawa alayhi salam gave birth to 40 children of Adam alayhi salam. The first couple was Qabil and his twin sister Kaliha, and the last was Abdul Mughis and his twin sister Umtul Mughis. The total number of children of Adam alayhi salam was 40, in which Hawa alayhi salam experienced cycle of birth 20 times. Names of some of them have reached us and some have not. These are the names of those whose names have reached us: Qabil, Habil, Sish, Abad, Baligh, Asani, Toyah, Banan, Shabuba, Hayyan, Zeraris, Handar, Yajud, Sandal, Baruch, Abdul Mughis. The names of female children of Adam alayhi salam are Kaliha, Lifza, Ashush, Hazurta, Gharura, and Umtul Mughis. Mention of Habil and Qabil, the first murder on earth, was by the hands of Qabil, who killed his own brother Habil. There is a mention of children of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam in such a way that whenever a boy was born, a girl was also born with him. So they used to marry the boy born from the first pregnancy to the girl from the second pregnancy, and the boy born from the second pregnancy to the girl born from the first pregnancy. They even had 2 sons, one named Qabil and other named Habil. Qabil was a farmer and Habil was a shepherd. Qabil was older and he had sister. That is, the sister of Qabil who was born with him was the most beautiful. In accordance to the law, Habil wanted to marry Qabil's sister, but Qabil refused and said that she is my sister, born with me. She has more beauty than your sister, so I deserve to marry her. His father Adam alayhi salam ordered him to marry his sister to Habil, but he did not obey. When a dispute arose, both of them offered a sacrifice before Allah to see who was more deserving of the beauty. Adam alayhi salam was not there on the day of sacrifice. He had gone to Makkah to perform pilgrimage. Before going to Makkah, Adam alayhi salam asked the sky, "Faithfully protect my children and family." The sky refused to take the responsibility. Then he said to earth. The earth also refused. Then he asked the mountains, but the mountains also refused. Then he asked Qabil. He accepted this responsibility and said that you should leave with no worries. When you will return, you will find your family in a state that will please you. So Adam alayhi salam left. After his departure, the sacrifice was performed. Qabil proudly said that I am more entitled to this girl because she is my sister and I am older than you and I am also successor of my father. When they both sacrificed, Habil offered a healthy animal and Qabil sacrificed a pile of grain. After that, he went on search and found a large pile of grain in the ground. He cleaned it and ate it. When the fire came, it consumed Habil's sacrifice and left Qabil's sacrifice. So Qabil got very angry and said that I will definitely kill you so that you cannot marry my sister. Habil replied, Allah accepts the sacrifice of those who are obedient. If you raise your hand on me, I will never raise my hand to kill you. I fear Allah, the Lord of the worlds. I want you to bear the burdens of your and my sins and become amongst the people of hell. And this is the punishment of the wrongdoers. So Qabil got self-motivated to kill his brother and then started to looking for Habil to kill. Habil used to graze goats on the top of the mountains. So one day while searching for Habil, Qabil found him sleeping while the goats were grazing. Qabil picked a big stone and crushes his head. Habil died and Qabil left him unburied. He did not understand what to do with him now, so Allah sent near him 2 crows who were brothers to each other. They fought and one killed the other. The crow who killed dug a hole in the ground and buried the crow who was killed and covered the hole with soil. When Qabil saw the scene, he said, "Oh, what a low life I am, that I cannot even bury my brother like this." Crow killed and buried his brother. When Adam alayhi salam returned, he found his son killed by his own brother. There's a reference to this story in Voices of Holy Quran. When Hazrat Adam alayhi salam heard this whole incident, he cried a lot and said, "The city and its inhabitants have changed. The surface of the earth has also become dusty and unreal. The flavor of every colorful thing changed, and the freshness of beautiful faces has faded." Adam alayhi salam was given an answer like this: "O father of Habil, surely both of them were killed as a living also become like the dead. In the state of fear, he committed an evil, due to which everywhere he goes he is constantly shouting like a madman. Taking his sister's hand and taking her down from Baz mountain, he ran to Hafiz's place. Then Hawwa alayhi salam gave Adam alayhi salam a boy named Sish and his sister Gharura. He was named Hibbatullah, which is derived from Habil. On his birth, Jibreel alayhi salam said, that is the gift of Allah, which is a replacement of Habil. He is called Sish in Arabic and Hebrew, Shast in Syriac. He was made the successor of Adam alayhi salam. Adam alayhi salam was 130 years old at that time of his birth. When the time of Adam alayhi salam's death came near, Adam alayhi salam called his son Shis alayhi salam and took an oath from him and taught him the hours of the day and night, and told him that every hour some kind of creation is busy in worship of God. And he said, "O my dear son, soon there will be a storm on earth, and it will stay for 7 years." And he made him write his will. So Hazrat Shis alayhi salam became the heir and successor of his father, Adam alayhi salam. After the death of Adam alayhi salam, all the government and kingdom was passed on to Shis alayhi salam. When the king of death came to capture his soul, Adam alayhi salam said, "O king of death, why did you not come to me quickly?" King of death said, "I did not." Adam alayhi salam replied, "Aren't there 40 years left in my age?" King of death replied, "There is nothing left in your age. You requested your Lord to write down so much of your life for your son Dawood alayhi salam." Adam alayhi salam said, "I did not do that." He said that Adam alayhi salam forgot, his descendants also forget in the same way. Adam alayhi salam refused and his children also refused. So Allah will keep the written book on the day of judgment and will judge with witnesses. When Allah created Adam alayhi salam, He placed His hand on his back and placed all of his children who will be born until the day of resurrection before Him. Then presented them to Adam alayhi salam. Adam alayhi salam saw one of them more whiter and brighter. So he said, "O my Lord, is this a prophet?" He said, "That's your son Dawood." Adam alayhi salam replied, "O my Lord, how old is he?" He said, 60 years. He replied, "O my Lord, make him live longer." Allah replied, "No, but you can add your age to his age." Adam alayhi salam was 1,000 years old, so Adam alayhi salam gave him 40 years of his life. Allah Supreme wrote this matter in the book and made the angels to witness it. So in this way, Adam alayhi salam's 1,000 years got completed and Dawood alayhi salam received a life of 100 years. It is narrated that Adam alayhi salam was ill for 11 days before his death. Adam made his son Shis his heir and wrote a will for him, entrusted to his son Shis, and ordered him to be keep it a secret from Qabil and descendants, because Qabil killed Habil out of jealousy. So that is why Shis alayhi salam and his descendants kept the knowledge that they had hidden from Qabil and his descendants, and thus Qabil and his descendants were deprived of it. When Adam alayhi salam finished writing the will, his soul left his body on the death of Adam alayhi salam. The angels gathered and made his blessed grave, because he was the chosen one and one of the most merciful. Shis and his brothers were near a town Al-Firdaus at that time. It was the first settlement on earth. On the death of Adam, the moon and the sun were eclipsed for 7 days. When the angels gathered at the time of death, they collected the written will of Adam and placed it on a ladder-like object. Along with this ladder-like object was a bell which our father Adam alayhi salam brought from paradise so that he would not forget the remembrance of Allah. the Supreme. Yahya bin Ibad narrates from his father that the news reached me that when Adam died, Allah sent for him the shroud of paradise and the incense and entrusted the angels with the responsibility of preparing his grave. So they buried him in the soil until his body got out of sight. When Adam ﷺ died, the angels bathed him in water in odd number of times, and they kept him in the limit and said that this method will continue in the children of Adam ﷺ. Others say that he was buried in a cave in Jabal Abi Qais in Makkah, and this cave is still called Cave al-Kanz. Hawa ﷺ died on the mountain called Buz. That was the same mountain on which she was brought down. After Adam ﷺ's death, Hawa ﷺ lived for a year. Then Hawa also died and was buried next to her husband in the cave mentioned before. Both of them remained buried at the same place till the time when Noah's flood came. At that time, Noah ﷺ took them out of their graves and kept them in the coffin. Then he put the coffin in his boat. When the ground dried, their coffins were buried in the same place where they were buried before the storm. It is related that Hawa used to weave yarn and cloth, knead dough and bake bread and perform other women's tasks. There is much to learn from the stories of all the prophets. It helps to be patient and grateful in the sufferings of religion and the world. And we get a chance to reform our lives. We pray to the Almighty Allah to grant us the ability to implement His orders and follow the Sunnah of Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ameen. Summa Ameen.